This is Marcy Anderson with the Fishing Report for Southeast Kentucky. The summer heat continues in full force, and surface temperatures on area lakes are running in the upper 80s and low 90s depending on time of day and location. On Lake Cumberland, anglers have been having success going after stripers in the early morning hours, pulling live bait on planer boards. Depth and location of the fish has been variable as the striped bass are moving around to chase the bait fish. The mouth of Laurel area is also a good option to try when targeting striped bass, with the water releases from Laurel River Lake providing a nice thermal refuge for the striper. Nighttime hours have been producing some black bass by targeting main lake points for smallmouth and fishing around cover in the smaller creeks for largemouth and spotted bass. Anglers are also having success going after walleye in 25 to 30 feet of water using deep diving crankbaits. Cumberland tailwater is always a good option in the summertime due to the natural air conditioning. One sluice gate is currently being used to increase the oxygen level in the tailwater. While this increase in oxygen is giving the trout a little extra energy, it's also creating a little bit more turbulence in the area immediately below the dam, so be sure to use extra caution when fishing in that area. Brown trout numbers continue to improve in the tailwater, and we have seen a few over 20 inches. 12-inch brown trout were stocked this week, so expect to encounter some of those fish. Rainbow trout were also recently stocked in the tailwater, so good numbers of 9-inch fish are available. Recent generation schedules on the weekdays have seen several hours of no flow in the morning hours, which has provided good opportunities for wade fishing, but be sure to check the generation schedule before you go to help plan your trip. On Dale Hollow, anglers are doing well catching walleye by trolling night crawlers and crankbaits on the flats in 20 to 30 feet of water. The black bass bite has been slow during the day, but at night some bass are being picked up on spinnerbaits and jigs around vegetation and bluff walls in 20 feet of water. So as always, good luck and good fishing.
This is Jeremy Shiflett with another fishing update from the Northwestern District. Rough River Lake is about 7 feet above summer pool and dropping around 6 inches per day. Tailwater discharge is around 15 to 1600 CFS. Bass fishing is fair with better action early and late in the day and also overnight. Crappie fishing is also fair with fish on structure 15 to 20 feet deep, maybe a little bit shallower depending on how that thermocline is changing throughout the lake. However, striped bass fishing is good to excellent depending on if you're in the right place at the right time. Fish have been in the jumps early and late from the dam all the way up to around the islands at the mouth of Cave Creek. Hybrid striped bass are also being caught trolling 10 to 15 feet deep in that lower section of the lake, and also casting swim baits and rattle traps to main lake points, especially those where the wind is blowing the shad up shallow. Catfishing has been fair using cut bait or live bait in the creeks, and all boat ramps are now open now that the water has dropped out, but please remain cautious of flood debris that does remain throughout the lake. Nolin River Lake is near summer pool and holding. There is maintenance work ongoing in the tailwater stilling basin, so that immediate area is closed to the public for several more weeks. However, the lower end of the tailwater rec area remains open and was recently stocked with trout. Anglers have also caught a few smallmouth here recently in the tailwater as well. Bass fishing in the lake has been fair, again best early and late on main lake with soft plastics and blue-black and medium to deep running crankbaits. Fish are being caught down to around 20 feet deep. There are also some largemouth and spotted bass in the jumps with the white bass from daylight to about mid-morning and also the last hour or so of daylight. Most of these jumps have been on the lower lake, but there have been some schools up lake a little ways in the mouths of the creeks and all the way up to Dog Creek and Rock Creek. Just about any shiny, small, flashy bait will get strikes on fish that are actively feeding in the jumps. Crappie fishing has been pretty good, especially early morning. Look for fish on main lake brush and on timber in the creeks 15 to 18 feet deep. Bluegill fishing has also been very good this summer with some very nice fish being caught on hair jigs and redworms in shallow cuts or coves on the main lake and in the creeks. Bass, bluegill, and channel catfish have been active in the state-owned lakes. Again, the first and last few hours of the day have been best for fishing and for the angler. Target woody structure anywhere from 5 to 15 feet deep for bass and crappie. Target quiet pockets in the creeks and coves for catfish and bluegill. At Ken Lake on Peabody WMA, some blue and flathead catfish and also some spotted and long-nosed gar are being caught on cut bait and live bait. You should fish the channel that runs along the road levee in a horseshoe shape from one boat ramp around to the other. There are also some other lakes in that area that have been stocked with sunfish and channel catfish over the years. So just got to get out there, try a few new places, and if one doesn't work out, just hop down the road to another one. Heat has been brutal lately and the humidity just zaps your energy, so make sure to stay hydrated, wear sunscreen or sun protective clothing when you're out. Good luck and stay safe.
This is Caleb Bentley with the Kentucky Stocking Report. This week across the state, we stocked rainbow trout. Rainbow trout were stocked in the Cumberland Tailwaters, Nolan Lake Tailwaters, Lincamp Creek, Roundstone Creek, Harrington Lake Tailwaters, Casey Creek, Jennings Creek, Trammell Creek, Sulphur Springs, Blacklet Creek, and Paintsville Lake Tailwaters. Good luck fishing and stay safe.